Hey guys, so I wanted to go over, I've created or adapted the process guide from the first video that I gave you. Um, this is, it's just got a little more in depth to it. So this is the one that you actually should have, um, unless I change it again, because, you know, sometimes I need to. But I'll let you know. So you should have done your pinch pots and taken a photo of that and shared it with me. And now we're going to be moving on to our coils. Okay, so I've created a video of different um, coils that you can try. And again, this is just a practice. So you're not going to be saving any of these. It'll all go back into the recycling bag so that we can use it for our future projects. Again, just want you to have some more practice with the clay. So I found this different types of coils online, and the video that I'm sharing with you shows you how to create some of those. I've bookmarked them, and so you can choose the ones that you want. You don't have to watch all of them, but these are going to be great for both decoration, and you're going to need to be using coils to reinforce wherever you're connecting two pieces of clay. Okay, so yeah, watch the video, and then again, you need to share with me um, your photo that you create of your finished product, which is here. Um, so it says coils, watch the video and create 5 different types of coils. And then it says follow procedures from the coil pot, which means watch the video, get out your tools and materials, make coils, not pinch pots, because we've already done that. And then take a photo with the iPad and share it with Miss Becky. And then you can move on, or depending upon the time, you might need to clean up. And I do have cleanup procedures here for you because sometimes you guys are not really that great at it. So you're going to return the clay to the bag. You're going to put away your tools and materials and throw away your trash in the trash can and not in the sink. Use a wash rag from the sink, squeeze all the water out, and wipe off the table. And then return the wash rag to the sink and wash your hands. You are only using 1 pump of the soap. Do not be wasteful. You don't need that much. Your hands are not that big. And then return to your seat. Okay? So again, do your coils, and then if you need to, you can move on to the next step if there's time, or clean up. Okay? All right. Please. Hey guys, again, this video is showing you how to make some coils. Okay, these are going to be useful in the decorative part of your hand building, as well as when you start to join pieces of clay together. You can use coils like a piece of tape to reinforce the joint and help it to be more secure and solid. So you're going to first start with small bits of clay, okay, and you're going to kind of mash it into your hand and then create like a log. And then as you roll it on the table with your hands, you may need to add just a bit of water. I didn't squeeze water onto it. I just put a little bit, just kind of dabbed it with the sponge. So this is just how you make regular old coils, and I'll show you. You'll see that the more that you roll it out, the thinner and longer they'll become. So you can make really long coils, you can make really thin coils, you can leave your coils kind of fat. Okay? So to make some short coils, all you're going to need to do is take your long coil and then use one of the tools to cut them. Um, this is good for if you want to have like equal length in your coils. and then you just take a little bit of water from the sponge, just you're moistening your hands, and then kind of roll it in your fingers and reshape it. To make the twisted coil, you're just going to roll out 2 long pieces of clay to make some thin coils, or they could be thicker if you'd like. And then once you've got them to the length that you would like, then you can join them at one end and start to twist them around each other. If you use a little bit of water and moisten the twist as you go, you can you'll get less cracking in the clay. So just dampen the clay. You're not using a lot of water. It's just a moist sponge. And then you just twist it and shape it up. For the braid, you're going to need 3 long coils that you want to have them about the same length. So I usually try to start with clay that's approximately the same size so that I can then braid them and you don't have one that's thicker than the other. So you just roll them out, and then if it's just like if you were to braid hair, and join them at one end and then begin to braid it. Again, if you use a little bit of water to help keep the coils moist, then that's helpful because then the clay won't break off and get cracked. So after you've rolled out a piece of clay, to make the arch, you're going to cut your clay into sections, and then just using a little bit of water, start to gently bend the clay into the arch, and follow it up with some others, and then you can cut them with a tool to make them even. And there you go. There's your arches. So to make the donuts, you want to roll your clay out to the thickness that you want the donut to be. And then using a little bit of water to keep the donut moist, you gently start to bend it around your finger. And then you can cut the 2 ends to make them even and join it together with a little bit of water. And again, you can make these as tiny or thin as you'd like. You can make them as big or as little as you like. There's lots of different ways to make these and use them. So just like with any of your other coils, you want to make sure that your coil stays moist, and so you just add a little bit of water to it and start to gently fold it back and forth in a kind of zigzag pattern. Again, moisture can be your friend when it comes to working with the clay. You don't want it to be too wet, but just enough to where your clay is not cracking. And just like with the donuts, you can make these as thin or as thick as you like. Now, coils don't have to be just long, skinny. You can make a coil by just rolling the ball of clay in your hand and making spheres. And you can do a lot of things with your spheres depending upon how big or small you roll them. You can make beads with them. You can make decorative pieces like little flowery type stuff. You can split them. There's lots of stuff that you can do with the spheres. One of the important things is always, again, to keep wetting the clay just a bit. Just put a little bit of water on your fingertips, and that should be enough so that the clay is not cracking. Use a tool to cut the sphere in half, and then you can reshape it. It's the easiest way to make half spheres. You can also flatten the sphere and just make sure that, again, you're adding a little bit of water and making it, reshaping the sphere as you flatten it. To make the spiral, all you're going to do is roll out your coil and then start to spiral it around and roll it. So the handle for a cup or any other piece is essentially an arch. Again, just make sure that you're shaping it the way that you'd like. Don't make it too thin. So to make a button, what you're going to do is take a sphere of clay and then using a tool, well, first you're going to flatten it just like you did before. And then you're going to take a tool and you want to pierce the tool. You can make 2 holes or 3 holes or 4 holes. It's up to you. So you add the holes. You want to pierce it through both sides and then start to smooth out the clay and make sure that there's nothing that's clogging the buttonholes. So to make a bead, you're going to need a needle tool, which I keep inside of a cork so that nobody pokes themselves. And you want to pierce the shape of the bead that you've made, and then you just roll it on your hand to widen the hole. Use a little bit of water to add a little moisture to the clay, make it nice and smooth, and there you go. There's your bead.